What's up, guys? My name is Aaron. Today I'm going to be reviewing Deadpool 2. This movie is directed by David Leitch, the dude that directed John Wick, and it stars Ryan Reynolds, Josh Brolin, Zazie Beetz. You see the cast, basically. It's basically about Deadpool having to team up with some other superheroes to kind of get Cable to stop trying to chase this boy who has this kind of mysterious past. It's basically about Deadpool kind of having to work with other people, basically. I'm going to keep it real with you. I really didn't like this movie at all. I really haven't been this bored by a superhero movie in like a while. I mean, I basically get the appeal of the Deadpool movies, the idea of Deadpool as a character. Say that I'm not going to go out of my way to say that anybody that's entertained by this stuff is a bad person or like a dumb person or anything like that. But this firmly kind of lands under the category of I'm not the target audience for this. Humor is a clearly subjective thing, and if it's funny to you, it's funny to you. There's nothing I can do that's going to change that for you. But this almost consistently fell flat for me comedically wise. For every good joke that kind of got at least a chuckle from me, like the Jared Kushner one or the one where they kind of have a crack about plus size superheroes not really being a thing, there'd be like basically 10 to 15 straight minutes of me not reacting to any of the jokes at all. I heard the jokes, it's just they weren't funny at all. They're like the most obvious and kind of cliche jokes, and they're just like raunchy dick or poop related jokes, you know what I mean? And it's not like I'm like opposed to comedic tinge superhero movies. Like I love the Guardians franchise. I think those are some of the best superhero movies out around, and I think Thor Ragnarok, at least in my opinion, is probably one of my top 5 favorite superhero movies, period. Probably the best Marvel movie in my opinion. I think those movies really succeeded because to me they're really based in like a lot of character work, a lot of character-based humor, and they contain some really truly weird stuff in those movies, as opposed to just references to other movies in this movie and just dick jokes, basically. The humor in Deadpool and Deadpool 2 in comparison are really obvious and really expected. I'm constantly going for kind of cheap, raunchy laughs outside of anything that's really comedically wise. I get the appeal of this movie, but like it just really didn't do anything for me comedy wise. And because this is labeled a comedy, I just got like a big shrug out of the entire experience. None of the jokes were that good that kind of had me like dying laughing, and it just kind of made me feel empty kind of by the end of it. These movies are labeled as like being subversive and kind of sticking a middle finger to the structure of normal superhero movies, but this is just like a regularly told superhero movie for the majority of it. It goes through the kind of beats of the fall and rise of a typical superhero movie, obnoxiously breaking the fourth wall to kind of comment on the derivative nature of the entire experience. Again, I'm not really saying that a movie can't wink at the audience every now and then. I mean, I can think of at least like 2 moments from Thor Ragnarok that basically did the same thing. Wasn't as overt as this was, but it did the same thing. But I think this movie's insistence on commenting on every little thing that happens plot-wise every 5 minutes got really annoying, and they just really commented on the typical nature of it. They didn't really like do anything to kind of buck the tradition outside of, I guess, one thing, I guess. It really kind of got like boring to me, and it got like kind of empty because if the comedy's not really landing and the subversive nature of it isn't really landing, then I'm just watching like a 2-hour movie about superheroes and they're not really that interesting or that fleshed out, you know what I mean? I don't know, I just got really annoyed and kind of bored by the hour-long mark, and to me I felt like the humor's not good and the subversive nature of it isn't that good, but at least the characters will be a little interesting because they added more of them. I mean, Wade Wilson Deadpool, I don't really care because I think his character is kind of annoying. I think Ryan Reynolds is good at it, but I think the character is very annoying. I think Cable, who's played by Josh Brolin, is probably the closest thing. It kind of felt like an original character, but I think it's because of Brolin's strong acting, who kind of has this natural empathy in his backstory and stuff. And it's not really like the good writing or whatever. I just think that Brolin is a really good actor. Plus, I really like his haircut. I think he's a really cool haircut. I think the same thing with Domino, played by Zazie Beetz. Really good acting, and she has really natural charisma in this role. And she kind of sells the action scenes as well. But again, the character really isn't given much to do. The movie tries to give Deadpool a little bit more dimension and humanity in this movie, but I really couldn't take any of this stuff seriously. Like, the character is so goofy and over the top 90% of the time that any emotional scene kind of fell flat to me. It's not really Reynolds' fault, though. I think he did with the material what he could do, and I've seen him kill, like, dramatic roles in the past. He has the capacity to do dramatic stuff, I think, well, but I think the overall goofiness of this movie just kind of killed any emotional momentum in this movie, and just I couldn't really take any of this stuff seriously. I don't know. I don't think the movie is without like pros in my opinion, I think that the action is really well done by the dude that did the first John Wick movie and Atomic Blonde. I think the dude has a very natural pulse for hand-to-hand combat scenes and gunfire scenes, so he really puts that in display in this movie. It's really fluid. You can see what's happening in every shot. That was the true highlight of this movie. Kind of getting my attention whenever those scenes popped up. The cast is good. I'm really locked into the kind of comedic tone of this movie. Again, it's not really my type of humor, but I understand that the cast is doing a good job with this movie. Um, and I did like seeing Julian Dennison from Hunt for the Wilder People. 10 times better movie than this movie is. And I do think that some of the humor worked. Every 20 minutes there would be like a good joke, but there's just so much like terrible stuff just like flying over my head, and I'm just like, this is not for me at all. Yeah, but the majority of this just felt boring and kind of empty to me. These movies don't do anything for me comedic wise, and the characters really aren't that interesting, and just kind of feels like a middle finger to the audience. And I don't know, I don't want to watch a movie like that for 2 hours. Like, it was just boring and got grating to me by the end of it. So I think overall I didn't really like this. I would give this like a 3 out of 10. Again, I understand if people like this and I understand the appeal of it, but again, it's just really not for me. I'm not the target audience for this. If you like it, you like it, but these are just my thoughts on Deadpool and Deadpool 2 as a franchise. You know what I mean? Like, just not for me. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Deadpool 2. What are your guys' thoughts? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments what you thought, and thanks for watching. Thanks, guys.